It's the last day of Conservative Party conference in Birmingham. I'm about to go in and hear the Prime Minister's speech. And it's been a real change in what the Prime Minister's saying just over the last 2 or 3 days. Over the weekend we were hearing perhaps that there wouldn't need to be a referendum on Europe, there could just be a general election. And I then went on the BBC Daily Politics, and I was saying, surely we can't go into the next election saying, vote Conservative, and if you support us, and we're saying we're going to try and get a few powers back from Europe, see what we can do, and we'll take your vote as a fully fledged consent for membership of the EU. I don't think that would be a popular policy or a sensible way to do it. And then the next day we heard the Prime Minister on the Today programme saying, he agreed, but the most sensible option was to have a referendum. And I think that's key, and it's got to be a referendum on whether we stay part of it. And if the Prime Minister can try and see if he can improve things in the meantime, I wish him well with that. But the British people have got to decide: do we want to be part of the EU, or will we be an independent country, trading with Europe but governing ourselves? The other key issue, of course, at this conference has been the economy, and trying to get the economy back to growth, to mend the banks, and really to do anything we can to help with the cost of living, which is, I think, the single biggest issue for constituents in Rochester and Strood. And one success I'm really, really proud of this week is we finally brought an end to the rail fares going up by 3% above inflation every year that the Labour government brought in, using South Eastern as a guinea pig. Myself and Tracy Crouch and other MPs, we've been lobbying ministers, doing everything we can, both publicly but also very importantly in private, behind the scenes with ministers, trying to show what the impact of this 3% above inflation has been every year on our commuters, pricing them off the train. A lot of people having to take the coach to London because they couldn't afford the train. The Radio 4 PM programme, they came out to Grain at 6 in the morning, then through Strood to see some of the people having to get the coach, and many because they couldn't afford the rail fare anymore. So we've now announced that it's going to be just 1% above inflation, and I think ultimately I'd like to see an end to above inflation increases altogether, and that's what I'll continue campaigning for. But I think we brought it back from this really absolutely disgraceful Labour increase that we've had for a number of years, 3% above inflation. Now we're just back to 1% above inflation, and I hope that will at least give a little bit of relief for long-suffering commuters. So we've got to get the economy back to growth, we've got to look after the cost of living, and we've really got to do everything possible to help people in the Rochester and Strood constituency and across the country. Thank you.